All right. Welcome to Saturday morning yoga, everybody. We are complete with our introductory review of the 7 main energy centers or chakras. And to begin right now, let's just find a comfortable seat, because rather than explaining more of it and reading more of it, we're going to experience more of it. So find a way to sit that you can just shift around if needed and feel more of your physical connection to what you're sitting on. And then as you begin to feel more balance as you root down, bring your attention from the very base of your spine and maybe closing the eyes. And just there, allow a deeper inhalation, slowly rising the attention up each vertebra of your spine, hovering the breath in, visualize it at the top of your head, and a slow exhalation through the mouth. Visualize the breath moving down the spine again, down to the pelvis. Let's take deeper breaths like that at your own pace. From the base of the spine, visualizing the breath, travel up to the crown. And exhaling through the mouth, seeing the breath from crown down to base. Cultivating the qualities that you might be reaching for in this practice of yoga today. Whether it be freedom in your body, perhaps of any tension, or clarity in your mind, or lightness and expansiveness at your heart. As you connect with your breath, continue to balance it and sustain it in and out. Now closing the lips. Place your hands on your abdomen and focus expansion into your belly as you breathe in, and a contraction of the belly as you breathe out. And as your eyes close, now steady your gaze at the point just at the center of your eyebrows. Feel the breath in, expanding the belly and also the lungs to full capacity, using the muscle that is your diaphragm. And feel the exhale, drawing the belly towards the back. Now you can continue sustaining the breath, creating a soft whisper as you breathe through the nose, or join me in 1 minute of Bhastrika Pranayama as I prepare the timer. Just a reminder, Bhastrika or bellows breath energizes the lungs, helps to clear the mind, especially after. So we begin with the elbows bent to the sides and hands like fists. And just quickly, for those of us watching the recording, we inhale, raise the arms up, spread the fingers, and we exhale, rebend the elbows, refist the hands, rhythmically, equal in-breath and out-breath through the nose, using the diaphragm. So let's prepare. Bend the elbows apart, hands like this, direct your inward gaze to the third eye center, sit tall and relaxed. Ready? Now, as you relax, breathe naturally, still closing the lips with eyes closed. Place your hands towards the base of your spine. We're going to bring attention to the quality that each of the 7 main energy centers offer us. So at the base of your spine, I'd like you to visualize the color red, and with it, this Muladhara or root energy center, the mantra. So for each one, I'm going to say some affirmation or mantra, and if one really speaks to you today, perhaps you adopt that within the hour of your yoga practice, or some way to tweak it to make more sense to you. So in this root energy center, as you ground the pelvis towards the earth, in your own way, I trust that life supports me. Take a deep breath in, and the chant is Lam. Let's chant together. Lam. Feeling the resonance within your body. Slide your hands to just below your belly button, about 2 inches below, into the sacral energy center known as Svadhisthana. Svadhisthana, here's the affirmation. I let creativity flow through me. The sound is Vam. Let's take a deep inhale to prepare to chant. Slide your palms to your upper abdomen, just below your bottom front ribs. At this energy center called Manipura, or the solar plexus, the affirmation is, I honor my power. And the sound is Ram. Take a deep breath in. Now place your palms at the center of your chest, the heart energy center. The Sanskrit word is Anahata Chakra. And the affirmation is, I give and receive with love. The chant is Yam. Take a deep breath. Now place your hands at your throat, the Vishuddha chakra or throat energy center. And the affirmation is, I listen and communicate with truth and kindness. This chant is Ham. Take a deep breath. This time I invite you to bring your hands to prayer position so that your thumbs can meet your third eye center just between the eyebrows and slightly above. Ajna chakra, and the affirmation is, my intuition gifts me clarity. The sound is Om. Take a deep breath. As you bring your 2 palms still in prayer just above the crown of your head, acknowledging your crown energy center known as Sahasrara chakra. The affirmation is, I appreciate our interconnectedness. And for this, we simply listen in silence. Now releasing the hands on your lap again, let's continue with Ujjayi Pranayama, building warmth for our movement and physical practice. As you close your lips and sustain your breath equally through your nose, while softly narrowing the back of your throat. Now, tuning to how you balance your energy within your movements and your thoughts, indicated through the quality of your breathing throughout this hour. Softly flutter your eyes open and gently rise to stand in mountain pose. Come to the very top of your mat with your feet slightly wider than hips width apart, spreading your toes and just taking a moment to literally ground through the four corners of each foot. This is a wonderful posture that helps us connect to the feeling of stability that the root energy center offers us. So press into the ground and feel energy rise up your legs in the center of your body through your crown, drawing the shoulders slightly behind you and down. Let's take 3 slow breaths, standing tall, confident, and with ease in Tadasana. Another word for this posture is samastitihi, which means equal standing pose. Feel balance. Now let's begin to flow slowly through Sun Salutation A. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead towards the sun, palms touch. Exhale, as you hinge from your hips, feel free to bend your knees to offer the most length in your spine as you fold. Pressing the ground ahead or your legs, breathe in to elongate your spine parallel to the earth. Planting your hands flat on the ground, step into plank and let's pause for a moment to ground. Spread your fingers wide and see your wrists directly under your shoulders. Look at the floor ahead of your hands and feel the natural length and curve of your neck. Now knees might be on the ground to offer more support, or legs straight, in which you firm the heels back and firm the fronts of your thighs. Lifting the lower belly, take another deep breath. Slow and controlled movements. With an exhale, glide forward, then bend your elbows back so they hug your side ribs and pass through a 90-degree bend right over the wrists before you lower chest and belly, same time. With your wrists alongside your floating ribs, continue to hug your elbows close to your sides. Point your toes and actively lengthen your legs while firming the tops of your feet on the ground. Feel how your knees lift with that energy. Grounding the pubic bone, picture the area right under your shoulder blades. There, contract your back and with an in-breath, broaden your chest and let it rise from the ground, looking forward and down, lengthening the back of your neck in cobra. As you tuck the toes, pressing into your version of plank, exhale, then lift your pelvis as high as you can towards your rear wall, letting your head hang for a few breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So feel free, since it's the first one, if you need to shift around and feel a little more loose in your hamstrings by pedaling the feet, loose in your neck by softly moving your head. But at the same time, feel fingers spread like grounding roots of a tree, allowing your hips and shoulders to rise, creating the most space along those 7 main energy centers, from root to crown. Now holding still, perhaps with very bent knees, lift your sitting bones and firm your belly in towards your back. Listen to your breath, and on your next exhalation, hold the breath at the end while walking or lightly jumping to the front of your mat. With feet apart, parallel forward folds. Press the ground ahead of your legs. Inhale, lift your heart and gaze forward. Exhale to fold. Root down through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms and rise tall, looking up. Exhale, trace your thumbs from the third eye center to your heart and down. So we're gonna flow 3 times in a row of Surya Namaskar A. For many of us, you've done this so many times before. I invite you to play with tuning into how the postures feel internally. Maybe closing your eyes whenever you want to play with that. Flowing to the breath. Let's do one more together, and the last 2 completely at your own pace of breath. Here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift the heart, lengthening the spine. Plant the hands and step to plank, or lightly jump to chaturanga, which is halfway down. Lower all the way for cobra, or from halfway down, coil the chest into upward facing dog. With an exhalation, firm your belly and lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Stay there for 3 to 5 deep breaths so that we're not rushing or moving by default. This is a time to tune in, present in our bodies, present with our breaths, present with our intentions or mantras. Then as you feel ready, you're on your own for the next 2 cycles. Step or float forward at your pace of breath. Closing the eyes whenever you feel like playing with that flow. Trusting your inner guidance. In a balanced way. Play with this freedom of riding your own pace of breath. Adding any spice that you want to spontaneously add that your body asks for in the moment. Finishing this last cycle, no rush, we'll meet in downward facing dog. When you arrive in downward dog, feel your fingers respread onto the earth as you ground firmly between thumb and index, rotating your outer upper arms towards the earth and lifting the shoulders away from your neck as you drop your head. And lifting the hips high, firm the fronts of your thigh bones back, shifting more weight down the backs of your legs through your heels towards the earth, whether or not the heels touch the ground and or you bend the knees. Now feel the full length of your spine, creating space for energy to flow. 2 more breaths. Feel your breath, energy itself, allowing life force to flow. Now with an inhalation, raise your right leg behind you. Exhale and bend the right knee towards your nose, slowly and controlled, stepping right foot just inside of your right hand. Come into your version of a lunge and come up onto your fingertips or blocks under your hands. Now your version might be back knee to the floor if that allows more space in the neck so your shoulders are not shrugging. With an inhalation, allow your pelvis to sink a little closer to the earth as you float the heart up and gaze forward and up. With an exhalation, begin to draw your right thigh bone back into the hip socket while extending your chest forward, folding over your right straightened leg. Inhale, rebend the right knee just over the heel in your lunge. Then exhale, scissoring the right hip back, grow the chest forward and fold. Following your breath, about 3 more cycles. Keep going. So we begin with grounding movements very close to the earth. Then we start to move into the sacral energy center, this nourishing, this quality of fluidity within bodies and our minds. Plant the left hand flat, roll onto the outside edges of both feet, flex from your lunge. And placing the right arm up towards the sky, slide the right foot about halfway down the right edge of your mat towards the rear of your mat. Now you're still on the outer edges of both feet, flex. Begin to sink the left hip towards the earth as you look back at the rear of your mat. Right hand points to it. Then press the floor away by rooting down to your outer flex feet and lift the left hip, reaching the right arm overhead towards the front of your mat. Keep the left shoulder in its socket. Inhale, sink the left hip, point towards the rear of your mat. Exhale, lift the left hip, point towards the front of your mat. Let's take 3 more breaths. Be aware of how you're placing your weight on that left hand. Spread the fingers wide, lifting up and over. 2 more rounds. Keep going with your breath, making sure that you're flexing your feet and you're on the pinky toe edges of them. So your 3 limbs touching the earth are what you're rooting down to lift your pelvis from the ground with. Then reaching the right arm overhead again. Tuck the back toes, step the right foot front and center between your hands, and then spin the back heel down for warrior 2. Aligning right heel to arch of left foot, cartwheel the arms to rise up. This time, rotating from your shoulders, flip your palms to face up, and then bring thumb and first finger to touch. Bend the front knee right over the heel, tracing right knee and middle toe down the center line of your mat. Wrap the right sitting bone down under your body. And as your left knee and toes slightly point at the front of your mat, straighten the left leg and firm the top of the thigh bone back towards the right wide width of your mat. Now lift the frontal hip bones and feel the full spaciousness of your spine. Relaxing the shoulders, close your eyes and direct your gaze inward to wherever your body is calling your attention most right now. Listen to your breath about 3 more cycles. Preparing for triangle pose. Straighten the right leg, ground firmly through both feet. If you like, shorten your stance a couple inches and begin to slide your pelvis to the rear of your mat, palms face down, reach the right hand towards your front wall, and then lower it onto your right leg or just to the right side of your leg, pressing arm and leg against each other. Now you could direct your gaze up towards your left thumb if your neck feels okay with it. Draw the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Draw your tailbone back towards your left outer heel. As you firm the muscles in the fronts of your thighs, the sides of your torso, your belly, notice your ability to lift weight off of your right hand. Maybe a finger comes off. Let's take about 4 more deep, expansive breaths in Utthita Trikonasana. Wrap the left tricep to face your left wall, sweep the left arm overhead towards the front wall, and take a breath to look at your right foot. Lower both hands to plank. Decide if you'd like to flow on your own version of vinyasa. Cat-cow, hold plank, regular chaturanga. Let's meet in downward facing dog. On your next in-breath, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale slowly with control, contract the belly, round forward, and land left foot inside of left hand. Come into your version of a lunge. Whether back knee on the ground or lifted, come onto your fingertips. As you inhale, allow your pelvis to sink towards the earth as your heart floats towards the sky. As you exhale, plug your left thigh bone deeper into the hip socket towards straightening the leg as you bow. Keep going to flow. Inhale, bend the front knee just over the heel into a lunge. Exhale, scissor the left hip back, folding with a long spine, open throat. 3 more cycles of breath. Go with the sound of your own. Return to your lunge. Set your right hand flat on the ground with fingers spread so the wrist is directly under right shoulder and the index finger is directly facing the front of your mat. Roll onto the outside edges of both of your feet flexed. That's the pinky toe side. Reach the left arm to the sky, dragging left foot to trace the left edge of your mat, halfway down towards the rear of your mat. Then press the floor away with your 3 limbs, and then take a deep breath. Sink the right hip down and point the left hand towards the rear of your mat. Exhale, root down and lift the right hip, sweeping the left arm overhead towards the front of your room. Inhale, sink the right hip, point towards the rear. Exhale, up and over, point towards the front. Take about 3 more cycles, breathing at your own pace. Feel how the outside edges of both feet are rooting into the earth to really help lift the pelvis when it's time to. Feel your right shoulder in its socket, not rising towards your ear, so that you have stability in that shoulder joint as it bears weight down to the hand. Sweep the top hand overhead. Set your 2 hands at the top of your mat. Come onto the ball of your right foot and step left foot directly between the hands. Spin the right heel down for warrior 2. Aligning your left heel to the arch of your right foot, cartwheel your arms to rise up. Now from your shoulders, rotate your upper arms to flip your palms to face up, bringing thumb and first finger to touch. Close your eyes and notice where your body is asking for your attention through any kind of sensation. Allow your breath to travel into those spaces. Left knee bending over the heel, facing the front of your mat. Right knee slightly turned to face the front of your mat as you straighten right leg. Pelvis upright, tall spine, firm lower abdomen. Chest broad, shoulders relaxed. Hear the ease in your breathing for 3 more cycles. Let's straighten the left leg and ground firmly through both feet for triangle. Flip the palms to face down. You might like to shorten your stance a couple inches. Slide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat, reaching the left hand forward towards your front wall before lowering it downward onto your left leg or just to the left outside of it, where your arm and leg can still press firmly against each other. Stay aware of your breathing and direct your gaze up towards your right thumb, only if it feels okay on your neck. As you draw the shoulder blades down your back, lengthen your tailbone back towards your right outer heel. Spiral your chest slightly towards the sky. Feel into the expansiveness in your body, promoted by the shape you're creating with it in this pose. See if you can lighten the weight of your left hand. Rotating your right tricep or outer upper arm towards your right wall. Sweep your right arm overhead towards the front wall. Take an in-breath and look down at your left foot. Lower both hands and step into plank. You might choose to take the cat-cow a few times, a full vinyasa, or none of it. Let's meet in downward facing dog after your choice. Inhale, feel your hips lift high. Exhale, feel your fingers grounded to earth. Bend the knees. Prepare by looking past where you want to land your feet at the top of your mat. At the bottom of your out breath, lift your pelvic floor and use that to lift your root and land top of the mat. This time let your feet touch. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees to touch. Sink your weight back into your heels. And let's take a few breaths in chair pose. Extending the arms forward, then up just to the degree that your shoulders can stay relaxed down away from the neck. Though you're gazing forward, feel that your weight is shifting back towards your heels, so that if you wanted to peek down, you could see your toes. The shins are not in the way. Feel your tailbone draw towards the earth and your frontal hip bones rise towards the bottom of your front ribs. Relaxing something that needs to relax, if any. Take 2 more breaths in Utkatasana. Imagining there's a wall right behind your back, slide your back slowly down that wall to sit on the ground and prepare for Navasana boat. Lifting your feet as they stay together, legs hugging your midline. You could hold the backs of your legs or the floor or keep your hands free. Knees bent or legs straight. Lift your spine from the pelvis up. Relax the shoulders. Calm, balanced breathing. Remember, you could modify this in any way. As we take 7 breaths, visualizing up the energy centers. Focus on the base of your spine, the color red. Breathe in. Exhale 7. Lower belly, color yellow. Breathe, or orange, excuse me, breathe in. Exhale 6. Upper belly, color yellow. Inhale. Exhale 5. Heart center, green. Inhale. Exhale 4. Throat center, turquoise. Inhale. Exhale 3. Third eye center, indigo. Inhale. Exhale 2. Above the crown of your head, white or violet. Inhale. Exhale, slowly cross your ankles, flex your feet, keep the legs lifted, place your fingertips on the ground alongside your hips. Think of lifting the pelvic floor when you breathe out and contract the belly, and see if you can lift the pelvis off the ground. Maybe you hold a few breaths, maybe you switch ankles and try it again. Deep inhale, exhale, root down to lift up. And then once there, let's set the feet flat on the ground, sit tall, arms forward. Take your time to very slowly lower your back to the earth. A little twist and flow. Once your head meets the floor, raise the arms and flatten your body onto the ground, getting really long with an in-breath. Then contract your belly as you exhale, sit up. Left hand catches outer right foot, flex the feet, right foot kicks forward off the floor, and the right arm reaches towards the back wall as you look. Inhale, lower the legs, lower your body all the way down, long stretch. Exhale, contract the belly, lift, right hand catches outer left foot off the floor, left arm points towards back wall as you look. Inhale, lower and lengthen. Exhale, contract and twist. Inhale, lower and lengthen. From the belly move, exhale, contract and twist. Inhale, lower and lengthen. Exhale, contract and twist. Last one. Inhale, lower and lengthen. Exhale, contract and twist. Now, cross your shins, plant your hands in front, step or float back, flow or no flow. We'll meet in downward facing dog. A little bit of the yellow Anipura. I honor my power, that willpower energy center with that core play. Take a deep breath. Stick out the tongue. Let it go. Use your voice this time. One more. Inhale deeply. Activating your voice. Slow the breath down through the nose, back to the warming Ujjayi pranayama. Now keeping your two hips squared. Inhale, raise the right leg behind you. We did this yesterday. Point the toes, bend the knee, keep squaring the hips. That means turning the right hip down, tacking the left hip back. And imagine you're painting your right knee against the back wall and ceiling. Notice if that causes the belly to collapse towards the floor. Draw in the belly as you do that. And now look ahead of your hands and coil your chest simultaneously, like a scorpion. Take another in breath, and then tuck your tailbone under your belly. Contract and round, coming forward to plank, pause. Take another in breath, lift the belly, and as you exhale, very softly land right foot inside of right hand. Then your back heel down for warrior one, facing forward. Rooting through both legs, slowly rise up to stand. Now, as you bend your front knee just over the heel, like our lunge, scissor your right hip back. And as you straighten the left leg, press the outer heel down and spin the inseam of your left thigh, the inner thigh, slightly towards the rear of your mat. Lifting your frontal hip bones, contain your center. Anchor your tailbone towards the ground and let your crown rise towards the sky, softening the shoulders in between. Perhaps you seal the palms and gaze towards the thumbs. If that extra rigor is calling you, let's take 3 more breaths, however you choose to vary. Virabhadrasana 1. Now bending the elbows apart, slide the shoulder blades down your back, cross your right elbow over the left. Hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms and slide your shoulder blades down your back. Keeping the neck long, lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press your forearms away from your face. How's your breathing? Continue to contain your center and hug your hips squared. Begin to shift more weight into your right foot. We're going into eagle pose, wrapping the left leg over the right, or to modify, step into chair with both feet together on the floor. If wrapping the left leg, flex the foot or tuck the left toes behind the right calf. Scissoring the left hip back just enough so both hips evenly face forward as you sit even lower. Feel your spine upright, your shoulders relaxed. Then steady your gaze. Eagle is often an animal used to symbolize vision, clarity, ability to see the larger perspective. Is there anything happening in your life right now that's asking you to cultivate that trait? Though we're about to spread our wings and let the eagle fly, we're still going to continue balancing on the right foot. And if you need a rest, just stand in mountain pose first, then enter the next pose. Otherwise, we'll transition by slowly unwinding the left leg, bending the knee in front of you as you flex the foot and stand just on your right foot. Bringing your left hand to your left outer hip, hooking it down, the right hand crosses either to the outside of your left knee. Remember that twist flow that we did lying down? Here's the standing version of just the twist. You could twist this way or begin to straighten the left leg forward by sliding the left hand to your outer ankle or foot and kicking the leg straight while pulling it, using those counter forces to feel extension and balance. With your in-breaths, root into the ground and stand tall. With your out-breaths, keep the hips squared, the base stable, and rotate your rib cage to the left. You might even play with raising the left arm towards your rear wall, and perhaps even look towards it. Let's take about 3 more deep breaths. Sometimes I find myself taking things so seriously when I'm in a posture, especially if it's challenging. But then just the act of smiling can just bring it back into perspective, like eagle pose teaches. So start to look forward. Bend the left knee, passing through warrior three. You might extend the arms forward. You might lower the hands for more support, or arms by your sides. Take your time through warrior three. We're going to meet in crescent lunge. So you might hang out in flight for a few breaths if you're craving a little more of that. Or if you're craving to land on the earth, step back as soon as you like. And when you do arrive, both feet on the ground, lower your back knee. Place your two hands inside of your right foot on the floor or blocks. And scoot your right foot over to the right for your chosen version of lizard lunge. Hip opening, grounding posture. You could keep the right foot flat facing forward, maybe lower onto your forearms, whether or not you place props underneath. You could scoot the left knee further back a couple of inches so that you're able to bend it and not put weight on the kneecap in order to backstroke the right hand, catching hold of the left foot and gently pull it closer to you, thus stretching your quadricep and maybe even hip flexor. You could flex the right foot to stabilize your right knee while splaying your right thigh open as you scissor the right outer hip towards the rear of your mat, opening up into the outer thigh further, the IT band. Now, whatever you've chosen, let's commit to 4 more conscious breaths there. Gently release from the posture and let's step back into downward dog. Vinyasa is optional if you want that in between. When you do arrive in downward dog, listen to your breath and inhale, raise your left leg, squaring the hips. Point the left toe, take a few breaths and bend the left knee. Pointing the left knee towards your back wall and ceiling. Notice if the belly collapses. Contain it, firm it towards the back and begin to arch the upper back, coiling the chest to look on the ground past your hands, like a scorpion tail. Scissor the right hip back, turn the left hip down, take another breath in. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone first under your belly, then contract to round forward to plank. Stay there with an inhalation, lift the belly higher if you can. With an exhalation, softly as you can, step the left foot inside of left hand and spin the right heel down with your feet still hips width apart for warrior one. Facing forward, press into the earth and slowly, mindfully rise up to stand. Virabhadrasana. Let's take a few breaths. Feel your front knee bend just over the ankle as your left thigh bone draws in deeper into your hip socket. Feel your right leg completely straighten as you firm your right outer heel into the ground, spiraling your inner right thigh towards the rear of your mat. Allow your frontal hip bones to slightly rise so that your tailbone may descend. Feel your breath, allowing space throughout the energy centers as you lift your crown and relax your shoulders down. As the arms remain straight for the last 3 breaths, you might add rigor of sealing the palms and gazing towards your thumbs. Notice if that adds any tension anywhere, like between the eyebrows. Begin to cactus your arms apart by bending the elbows wide. Cross your left elbow over the right, either hooking your thumbs or wrapping forearms and palms. As you slide your shoulder blades down your back, lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press your forearms away from your face. How's your breathing? Find stability throughout your transition, going as slow as it helps your awareness to be present. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Remember, you could choose to be in chair pose with your feet. Otherwise, for eagle, wrap the right leg over the left, flexing the foot or tucking the right toes behind the left calf. Sitting lower with the spine upright, steady your gaze, cultivating the qualities of being a visionary. What do you see for yourself through this practice today? Feel the importance of your present moment. So we're going to unwind by bending the right knee up and standing on the left leg. If you need to pause in mountain pose with both feet on the ground, feel free to transition that way instead. Otherwise, rising tall, right foot flexed. Right thumb hooks the outer crease of the right hip down, an effort of leveling the pelvis. Left hand crosses to hold outer right knee or outer right flexed foot. Kicking the leg straight as you pull it so the counter forces help balance. Rooting down to your left foot, lift up through the center of your body. Exhaling, twist to your right. Maybe add reaching the right arm towards your rear wall. Maybe add looking towards your right hand. Let's take about 3 more breaths. In what ways can we catch ourselves? We might start to get so willful, let's say, maybe sometimes even harsh on ourselves if we fall or if we wobble. Just find a sense of lightheartedness in it. Start to look forward, bend the right knee, pass through warrior 3, tilting the spine forward. Stay as long as you like in that transition where your right leg and spine are parallel to the floor, or as short as you like, softly landing crescent lunge, where the ball of your right foot steps towards the rear of your mat and the spine is upright. At your own pace, when you do arrive both feet to the ground, lower your right knee, place your hands on the ground or on props inside of your left foot. Scoot your left foot a few inches more to the left, coming into your version, hopefully the same one you explored on the first side, of lizard lunge, opening the left hip. Now you could lower your forearms, perhaps on props. You could scoot the right knee back and bend it, giving your quadricep and hip flexor a little more space by backstroking the left hand to pull in the right foot gently. You could add more attention to your left IT band, flexing the left foot to stabilize the knee as you splay the left thigh open and lean on the knife outer edge of the foot. Whatever you've chosen, let's commit to quality of breath and mind that aligns to your attention, your intention, for the next 4 breaths. And as you release that back leg straight, we're going to transition differently into a wide-legged forward fold, facing the wide width of your mat. So for me, I easily just pivot to the right, parallel the feet in a very wide stance, and then my hands are already on the floor, or you can put your hands on props. Do have your hands touching something though. If it doesn't meet the ground easily, you could also splay the feet wider apart and or bend your knees. Now crawl your fingertips forward to help elongate the spine parallel to the floor and shift a little more weight towards the balls of your feet. Think of lifting your kneecaps, engaging the fronts of your thighs. From the belly in, and with an inhale, imagine pressing your heart through the gates of your arms, keeping all of that space. Hinge from your hips and exhale to fold. Walk hands back. You might be able to flatten your palms on the ground so your fingertips are facing forward. And the top of your head creates a triangular peak. Then, if your hands are flat and your elbows are bending directly behind you, the arms parallel, just as they would be in Chaturanga when we flow, you're already creating a stable base out of your upper arms, just like you would in crow pose to start. Feel that as you press the hands down, you're able to lift the shoulders up and put less weight on the very top of your head, maintaining the natural curve and length of your neck. Perhaps you stay here or begin to lift one knee and place it on one upper arm, careful not to splay the elbows, and then switch. Or both knees and both upper arms in which you're already in headstand. Tripod headstand. You might bend the knees towards the belly by contracting the belly, lifting the pelvic floor, as we do in boat pose, Navasana. And you might even unfold the legs straight where you're flointing or flexing the feet, imagining I'm hanging from your ceiling, pulling your ankles up towards it. That's an interesting visualization. So whatever variation you're in, give it about 5 more breaths. Perhaps you chose to come down to your knees and practice dolphin pose instead, with the forearms to the earth, the elbows exactly shoulders width apart, and tucking the toes to lift the pelvis so your legs are similar to downward facing dog. If you're in dolphin, feel your chest press back towards your shins, whether or not you decide to lift one leg up and then switch, so that you're creating a lot of space in your neck. It's similar, rooting down through the hands or the forearms to lift the shoulders and honor space in your neck. Taking your time. If you were in dolphin pose, please settle into child's pose when you feel ready to. If you are in tripod headstand, come back to a standing forward fold. If you are in child's pose, go ahead and walk your hands over to the right for side stretch and take about 5 breaths on both sides. In a wide-legged forward fold, let's take our spinal twist here, walking the hands forward to lift the spine parallel to the floor first. Placing one hand on the ground centered under your heart, reach the opposite hand to the sky and keep your pelvis leveled as you twist, broadening the side of your chest towards the sky. Lengthen the neck. With an exhalation, switch the top hand down, the opposite hand up. Keep the pelvis leveled and stretch your spine forward, then twist across your waistline. A few more breaths. If you're in a wide-legged fold, crawl your hands to the front of your mat, pivoting to a lunge. If you're in child's pose, slither onto your belly, and let's all meet down, face down, lying on your belly. Entering one more heart opening, Anahata Chakra, giving and receiving love, right? So you can either clasp your hands behind you, legs straight, and lift everything off the ground for 5 to 10 breaths, or Dhanurasana, bend the knees and catch your outer feet, kick the legs towards straight and pull the feet, lifting everything up for 5 to 10 breaths. Take your choice, honor space in your lower back by not splaying your knees wider than hips distance, whether you're in bound locust or in bow. Broadening the chest with your breath, let your heart rise as your shoulders descend, honoring the natural space throughout your neck. What are you giving? What are you receiving? Perhaps this is the energy center calling your focus. When you finish 5 to 10 breaths, let it all go. You might like to shimmy the hips or windshield vibrations, allowing 3 deep exhalations through the mouth. Feel free to use your voice and feel the vibration of sound. Sliding your hands back alongside your lowest ribs. With an exhalation, press up into your version of plank. From there, take a breath or 3, feeling your center contained, feeling your body a horizontal mountain pose, the qualities of strength and stability. Before lifting the pelvis high and elongating the lower back by firming the sitting bones back. Take a deep inhale and a slow exhale through the mouth. Then either step or jump forward to sit. Let's bring the left leg forward in front of you, crossing or placing the sole of your right foot high on your inner left thigh for Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. So if you don't have a strap that you're holding and wrapping around the ball of your left foot, go ahead and raise your arms. Flex the left foot either way, ground through the sitting bones, lift the heart, and lengthen your spine as you breathe in. Then hinge from your hips. Lower your hands if you don't have a strap, catch hold of the outsides of your left leg and walk your hands down it. Bend the elbows slightly apart to help soften the shoulders away from your neck. And though you're bringing your torso closer to your left leg, see if you can actually lift the belly away from your left leg in an effort of supporting length in your lower spine. Ground firmly through your pelvis and slightly lift your heart, opening your throat. Now let's take 3 more deep breaths. Forward folds energetically promote introspection, a feeling of going inward. So they're great to cool down with towards meditation. So begin to lift the chest as you breathe in to rise. Let's straighten the right leg forward. Bring the sole of your left foot high on your inner right thigh. Flexing the right foot, either holding a strap or raising your arms. Root down through the sitting bones and breathe. Lift up through the spine. Exhale, leading with the heart. Notice how that allows space in the throat rather than leading with the head. Lower your hands and crawl them down your leg, bending the elbows apart to continue to press the shoulder blades down your back with a slight lift at the center of your chest. With your throat open, let's listen to 3 more deep breaths. Leading with your chest again, inhale to slowly rise up. So those of you who don't have a blanket and really like that variation, if you were in class when I was breaking down shoulder stand, just make sure that if you are going to shoulder stand, when you lift your pelvis off the floor, you tilt the chin back and keep the head still so that the back of your neck does not bear any weight. Your weight is on your shoulders. Otherwise, you might want to use a prop. You can come into supported legs up. You could also use a wall if you have one nearby and place your glutes and legs against the wall with your pelvis on the ground. So any way of lifting your legs up so that you're relaxing. Unlike headstand, which is heating and energizing, shoulder stand is cooling, calming for the nervous system, or any variation of it, like lying on your back with your legs up. So take that for about 10 slow breaths. Those of you coming into shoulder stand, if you want a refresher of getting into it, bring the elbows really close to your side ribs, plug the elbows onto the floor, and then begin to place your hands in the back of your pelvis to help lift it up. Tilt the chin back, see if you can walk the elbows even closer to your side ribs, and then press the floor away with your upper arms. So that's what you're using to root down so that you can rise up through the ankles. Floint or flex the feet and bring them together. Lift the tailbone towards your inner heels. Lift the inner heels towards the sky. Try to create a vertical line down your legs to your shoulders. And if you want to come into halasana or plow pose, you can bring one or both legs at the same time towards overhead. Whether your feet land on a prop or not, you could interlace the fingers like you would in bridge pose and press all of the outsides of your arms into the floor. Or you could hold your lower back with the elbows pressing the floor. Another relaxing variation of halasana is to bend the knees and hug your temples with them. When you decide to come down, begin to round the spine and slowly walk your hands down your back so that your spine very gently unravels to the floor. And once you're all the way down, you might want to pause in a transitional happy baby pose or circle the legs with the knees bent. But we're going to end in fish pose, which is a great counterbalancing posture to shoulder stand or whatever variation of shoulder stand. So to set up for fish, slide your legs forward so they're straight on the ground and your feet are together, but they're relaxed. So bring your arms down by your sides with your palms face down, then slide your hands under your pelvis so that your thumbs touch. Bring the elbows as close together as you can, and as you press your forearms, elbows into the floor, begin to puff up your chest and tilt your chin back as if you're trying to see your rear wall upside down. You might do so to the degree of allowing the crown of your head to meet the ground. This is the crown energy center, great pose for it. Lifting the upper back off the floor might be a possibility. If not, don't worry. Take another 3 deep exhales through your mouth before lowering to Shavasana. Lion's breath might be great right now. When you decide to come down for Shavasana, you might just shake and loosen arms, legs, gently the head, and then splay out. Take up as much space as you can. Feel the ground supporting your body. And as you close your eyes, feel your natural breath supporting your consciousness. Resting with your body still, breath natural, and physical eyes closed. We're going to end practice with a very brief meditation lying down, a scan through the 7 main energy centers like we did at the start. If you choose, you might place your hands on these areas as I mentioned their location, or simply visualize being there with a breath. Bring your attention to the base of your spine, envisioning the color of red, feeling again that life truly supports you. The chant is Lam, whether you hear it in your mind or sing it out loud. Breathing in, Lam. Slide your awareness up to 2 inches below your belly button, visualizing the color orange. In the sacral energy center, hear the words, I let creativity flow through me. The sound is Vam. Breathe in. Vam. Center your inner gaze onto your solar plexus just below the bottom of your front ribs. See the color yellow. Manipura, here in your mind. I honor my power. The sound is Ram. Breathe in. In your mind's eye, see your heart energy center at the center of your chest, the color green, Anahata. Hear the words, I give and receive with love. The sound is Yam. Breathe in. Picture your throat energy center, the color turquoise, Vishuddha. I listen and communicate with truth and kindness. The sound is Ham. Inhale. Visualize the area of the third eye center, the color indigo, Ajna. My intuition gifts me clarity. The sound is Om. Inhale. Om. Lastly, visualize above the crown of your head, bright white or violet, Sahaswara. I appreciate our interconnectedness. Feel the silence. And as you feel ready, begin to move your body in your own way, gradually lifting it up so that it may sit comfortably, tall, confident, alert. As you join your palms to meet at your heart, bowing in. So which of your main 7 energy centers called your attention today? Perhaps it inspires you to bring focus into it and how it relates to your day ahead. May the light in me bow or honor the light in you. Namaste.